what's a rational equation? Well, rational means ratio, right? So like a fraction, okay? I have two quantities. And you can see this is an equation. It's an equation made up of fractions, right? So what we're going to do to solve these rational equations is we're going to clear the denominators. So the way we do that is, let's go to this example here, is we find the common denominator for all the fractions. We multiply through by that common denominator, and what that does is it clears the denominators, eliminating the fractions, making it a little bit easier for us to solve. So let's go ahead and take a look at this one. What's the common denominator for all three of these fractions? Can you tell? If you were going to get a common denominator for all these, like say you were going to add them together, for example, what would you want that common denominator to be? Well, we would want it to be 4x. So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply the entire equation by 4x. And you can think of that as 4x over 1. And what we're going to do is we're going to take that and we're going to distribute it to each of these fractions. We're doing it to the left and the right side so it keeps that equation balanced, right? But when we do this, when we distribute it to the first fraction, see how those x's are going to cancel? Because one's in the numerator, one's in the denominator. Leaving us with just 4 times 3, which is 12. We've eliminated that denominator, right? Now when we distribute it to the next one, the 4's are going to cancel, numerator and denominator. We're going to be left with x times 2, so minus 2x, because of that minus sign there. And then here when we multiply, the 4x's are going to cancel. We're just going to be left with 8. So you can see we effectively cleared the denominators. We can solve this equation very easily. Now we just have to subtract 12 from both sides. So that gives us negative 2x equals negative 4. Divide by negative 2, and x equals 2. Now the last thing I want to mention is when you're doing these rational equations is you want to make sure that the answer doesn't make any of the denominators 0, because you can't divide by 0, right? Because that's undefined. So if you go to put the 2 back in, that's okay, that's okay. You just don't want x to be 0 in this case, because that would make the denominator 0, making the fraction